You're listening to WDM 91.3 PC Radio, and this is Behind the Dish. I'm Ben Bellotti. This is my co-host Rob. Rob, how you doing this morning?
Pretty well. Tough Friars lost yesterday, but I'm here, so that's all that matters.
You can say that again, and you can say that in a way that I'm not too happy about.
No, it's definitely a tough morning.
Oh yeah. Well, so Rob, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch too much of the game. I know you're watching the whole thing. So, some initial thoughts on it?
It was tough. So of everybody to play well, Alpha had career high in rebounds. I think 17, and 19 points. He had his best game of the year, and flat out, no one else played well. They almost broke the school record for most turnovers in a single game.
Wow.
Which was baffling. I don't know how they didn't hit it, to be honest. It was crazy. It felt like every single they had more turnovers than field goals made, which is atrocious. But what I will say is there's one thing that I did like from the game, and another thing that I didn't like. The person who I thought wanted to win the most on the Providence team was Ed Cooley.
Oh yeah.
Which is
it's
a little concerning almost, but I love his passion. But it made me a little nervous as a fan. Like these guys are giving up wide open threes and they really weren't even flinching. Ben, it was tough.
Coach Cooley, you always know he's one of the most passionate guys out there. So you can always see he has that drive to win and the devotion to it. But you're saying he's the one that wants to win the most. I mean, we got a ton of players on that court and on that bench. Do you think one of them would match his level? You kind of understand it. St. John's, you expect the Friars are just going to roll right over them. So maybe, you're going in a little relaxed. But from what you're telling me, it sounds like they're just way too relaxed. And everyone was just, even if it is one of the games you're quote-unquote supposed to win, you can't go in with that mindset 100%. You have to take it like every other game. And clearly they just did not do that last night.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess looking forward, we'll look forward at the Friars. They have Seton Hall coming into town on Saturday.
Right, big game.
Which now is a must-win.
Oh,
you have to beat
of course.
Them, which is tough. And Seton Hall's coming off a loss last night themselves. Which is a little scary. You never want to.
Maybe got a little fire in their eyes.
Yeah, I bet. But yeah, so now that's essentially a must-win game on Saturday against a top 10 team in the country. Which, again.
And by no means is it going to be an easy game.
No, it's going to be the toughest game we played all year.
Oh yeah.
So I would expect a couple tough days of practice leading up to that. One cool thing I will say about the game, I was just talking about it before the show. Andrew Fonz.
Oh yeah, this is interesting.
So Andrew Fonz, who he's a walk-on. He doesn't generally play unless it's a blowout. But he went in at the end of the first half with 30 seconds left just to play D. We had some foul trouble, and St. John's was inbounding the ball. So they had a 5-second violation. They never inbounded the ball, so no time got off the clock, and then he got taken out of the game. So technically he played, but he played 0 seconds.
Wait, so if you look at the box score, is his name listed?
His name is on there, but
0 seconds played.
0 seconds played.
That's great.
I just thought that was that's something you never see. So it's pretty cool.
but did play the game.
He did play.
There you go.
He did play, but his average minutes per game will take a tumble.
Oh yeah. So should we even revisit our predictions from earlier this week for this game?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
They were not good. We both thought the Friars were gonna win. So we'll start with mine first. So I had the Friars by 13 points.
All right.
71-58, led by Nate Watson. So obviously the Friars did not win. They almost lost by as many as I thought they were gonna win by. And I said that Nate would lead the way. Nate had 4 points and 3 rebounds.
Not quite leading the way.
Nope.
But he was on the board.
He was, but...
so my prediction, I had Friars winning the game
82
to 73, and David Duke being the standout player. So how did David do last night?
he didn't play that bad. He had 12 points,
All right.
2 rebounds, 2 assists.
But I think we can both safely say
we were wrong.
we were pretty far off. The Friars losing that game 80-69. So I think I can maybe put like half a point in my quarter.
I think so.
Just flip flop it. I'm a
Yep.
little close.
I mean, at least I'm getting. I might be negative points.
Yeah.
Wow. But no, you weren't that far off. And David played decent for you.
Alpha though, I mean, shout out to Alpha Diallo. Great game for him. Even though the Friars lost, you'd like to look at it as a step in the right direction for him, and hopefully he can continue to play this Saturday at 8 against Seton Hall, which is going to be. I mean, the Dunk is going to be absolutely packed. It's their pink out game, so it's going to be looking pretty cool. I think. A sea of pink shirts. We have the pink color on the uniforms. Which doesn't have anything to do with the game, just something cool. But I mean, this Seton Hall team, best team in the division by far, the number 10 ranked team, and unless that changed from last night, still number 10. So number 10 ranked team in the country. I mean, it's by no means going to be an easy game. Nova, when we played them, what were they ranked? Do you remember?
They were in the teens.
They were in the teens. Like high, low?
I think it was like 17, 18.
All right, so I mean, Nova, one of the other best teams in the division. We held our own against them. So, but I mean, Seton Hall is they're on another level.
Yeah, they have the best player in the country. Not even just in the conference, in the country.
Like, I don't even think it's a question. I 100% agree with that.
Yes, Miles Powell, he's the best scorer in the country, and I don't know what we're gonna play on the defensive end. I don't know who we're gonna put on him.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be the tough player to guard.
Yeah, I mean,
the Friars do take pride in their defense. We've always have good rebound numbers. So yeah. I mean, I think, in my opinion, I'm no basketball coach by any means, but I would say heavy defensive strategy against Seton Hall is what we need.
Yeah, I would say it's so hard to guess what they're gonna do because I mean, so when we play them, we already played them once this year down at Seton Hall, and their big guy actually at the game.
He had a great game.
It felt
we were
like
watching that. We were watching that game together, and Miles Powell kind of went not quiet, but
yeah, it was almost like he didn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
So we'll see. They're really deep. I don't think we could play them zone because they have so many guys who could just shoot it.
Right.
So I think we match up.
And they're bigger than us by a lot. Like we're one of the smaller teams in the Big East.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. It's not going to be easy come Saturday, but the Dunk will be rocking.
We always have that. We always have at least 1 point in our corner with that Dunk, especially in big games. It's always packed, always rocking. When they hit a 3 or dunk or anything special, the crowd goes nuts, and that fires Cooley up. It fires all the players up. So we have that in our advantage. But obviously, I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. This is going to be an extremely hard game. But that being said, you still got to show up, and we're still going to be rooting for our Friars. And I got some faith in them. Is it possible we pull off the win? Oh yeah, anything's possible at the Dunk, baby.
For sure, exactly. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we bring it on Saturday.
Oh yeah. So does that wrap it up for our Friars talk? Do we want to dare make a prediction, or we just think we're gonna do it?
Let's do it.
You want to? All right. I mean,
you go first.
Me first?
Yeah.
I mean, PC radio. We gotta stick with the Friars.
I know it.
I think we're gonna have a high scoring game.
Okay.
I think this is a game you're definitely gonna want to take the over in. Let's see. What was the score of our last game? Like against them, 70 something to 80. No, sorry.
It was. I think it was. They were in the 70s. You're in the 73-64.
73-64. All right. I think Seton Hall is gonna get up to. They're definitely gonna be in the 80-point range, in my opinion. Let's go. This could be way off here. Let's go 85 Wait, no. I'm sorry. The Friars are gonna
Friars are
gonna be up.
Yeah.
So the Friars are gonna. It's gonna be a close game. Friars, no, not quite 80 points, but it's gonna be up there. Let's go 70, 75 to 72 Friars.
Okay. So we win in a tight one. That would be fun.
Yeah, and then let's go outstanding player. Give me Pip.
I do like that. I do
Give me
like
Pip.
that. He's streaky, but we'll see. It could be his day. I'm gonna go. Do I have to pick the Friars?
I mean, you don't have to. If we're going with predictions, you don't have to.
Exactly.
But I mean,
All right. You know what? There's gonna be something special that happens in Friartown on Saturday. I'm gonna go Providence, 67, Seton Hall, 62. Most outstanding player. I'm gonna go with AJ Reeves.
I like it. I love it.
So Friars by 5, AJ. We both. What did you have?
76 to 72, and you were
Right. So I got Friars by 5. You got them by 4, and a little more high scoring
all
game.
right. And what was your score again?
67, 62.
All right. And then, of course, AJ Reeves is always a great pick.
Yes.
All right. I like those picks. I don't know how realistic they are, but if the Friars are going to come out on top, I think either of those are a pretty
Yeah.
good.
I do agree.
Guess.
I mean, we're definitely not gonna beat them up. It's gonna be a tough one.
Oh
It's gonna be
yeah,
a grand
for
out.
sure. But yeah. All right.
That's the Friars talk for the day. What do we got next?
Anything else you want to say real quick about the Friars, or?
Not much.
No?
Just figure it out, boys.
Oh, I think they will. It kind of needs to be next game, but if it's not next game, definitely within the next 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they always bounce back.
That is true. We have the best leader. in the conference in my
Unfortunately-
mind, Coach Cooley.
Sometimes it's not consistent, but they always bounce back.
You are right.
All right, so let's move on then. Next up, we got some talk. This is some interesting stuff, especially for a big baseball guy like me. It has a lot of players up in arms, and a lot of fans either love it, hate it, indifferent, maybe neutral. What I'm talking about is the new MLB postseason proposal. Now, this is something, when the report first came out, something that's extremely hard to follow. Now, more reports have come out, some by The Athletic, still Bleacher Report, ESPN, all that. They all have it. But basically, we're expanding postseason play here. So at first glance, expanding postseason play doesn't sound all that bad. The idea of this is to try and grow the game and get more fans to watch, which is always a good idea in MLB's eyes. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way when you translate the ideas to pen and paper.
I think it's all about the money.
Oh, it's definitely all about the money. Yeah. But I think when you say it's all about the money, are you talking about revenue for MLB or for the teams?
MLB.
All right, that's where I think you're wrong.
You think it's the teams?
I do. I mean, of course, more teams would, you get the ratings up theoretically. The MLB is going to get more money, but that's not really a definite. What is a definite is each team that makes the playoffs gets a postseason bonus.
Right.
So what this, in some people's eyes, and pretty realistic, I think, is it gives the lower teams, the teams that wouldn't normally get in, maybe don't. A lot of those teams, maybe like the Tampa Bay Rays or the Minnesota Twins, they don't have the highest payroll. Now the Twins are a little up there, but not the highest by any means. It gives them a little extra cash in their pocket. But so let's get into the proposal. Basically, what I took out of it, and I think I have a pretty all right understanding about it. Right now, there's 7 teams that make the playoffs. I think that's right.
7.
No, there's more than 7. You got the three divisions in each league, so that's 6, and then 2 wild cards from each. So, right, and then
So 10.
10 teams make the playoffs. This would make it into 14 teams making the playoffs, which is 47% of the league, rounded up to 50. Basically, 50% of the teams are making the playoffs with this proposal, which I'm not a huge fan of. It kind of makes that into like a hockey playoff makes them really drag out, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for some fans. But I don't like that, especially in baseball with so many games played. You're gonna have teams barely over a 500 record making the postseason, and it's either not going to be competitive or it's just going to be dragged out, in my opinion. But so now this, after the expansion of teams, expanding one or two teams, I can understand, but 14 teams I definitely don't like. This is where it gets really interesting. The team with the best record in each league, the National League and the American League, so there'd obviously be the division winner, and then out of the division winners, the team with the best overall record gets to pick. No. Sorry, they get a bye and automatically advance to the division series. So that's normal. But then the other division, the team with the second overall best record, gets to pick their opponent out of the other remaining teams.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting, and they would be picking this on like a reality TV show type of thing.
So a little more money, but there's
Right,
nothing wrong with that.
Well, so yeah, that's where I think the fan experience would be really cool.
Right.
But it's kind of strange. You get to pick the weaker opponent.
Yeah, or whoever you match up better against.
Right.
But I don't know. I personally, I don't hate the idea at all. I actually sort of like it. I think that I don't think 14 teams is outrageous. The NBA has 16. The NHL has, I think they both have 16. The NFL is the NFL still is 10.
Right.
Like the MLB. But that's only because you can only play so many games in the NFL. It's a lot more of a demanding sport.
So let me tell you why I don't like the 14 teams.
Okay.
So a huge part of baseball, and if you watch baseball, one of the most exciting times a year is that trade deadline in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the teams decide at that point in the season if they think they have a real shot at the playoffs or not. So now there's so many teams that can make it with this proposed rule change, that it's almost like, oh, we're gonna make it. We don't have to make this trade, or like there's not going to be as many deals at the deadline. There's not going to be as many trades going around, which could be good or bad depending how you look at it. But no one's going to be motivated to make these deals, which is arguably one of the most watched times in the baseball. There's rumors flying around.
Yeah.
There's trades happening left and right. Kind of like the NBA trade deadline, where crazy things can happen. It more. Not so much recently as it happened, but it always has the chance to. Now, these teams that, normally wouldn't even dream about making the playoffs, they have that chance. They're going to be making the moves to make their team better, which is good for them. But basically what's going to happen is these bottom feeder teams are just going to be, they're not going to be willing to get rid of their players and get new prospects because, we're only 2 wins away from being on that playoff.
Yeah.
So that it's going to take away the trade deadline. It's going to make it, in my opinion, less competitive because, there's been so few teams that have won like 85 games and won the World Series. It doesn't work like that. It's pretty.
I know. I do know what you mean there. I don't know. I think that what the MLB, the best part of the MLB is is the playoffs. There's no other way.
Right.
That's when the casual fan like myself says, I'm gonna start, instead of following the league, like I'll follow the Red Sox, I'm gonna start watching the league, watch the games.
Right.
So I think that they get to capture an extra week and a half, 2 weeks of that.
That is a good point. That is a good
someone
point.
like myself, or someone. If there's a lot of people who are a younger version of me, who I would say, who that's the people who, when you say grow the game, is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think that they could capture. I think that this would help build that a little bit, in my opinion.
So let me ask you this then. Sorry, just completely lost my train of thought, but I'll get right back there. Oh, okay. So you're saying not a casual baseball fan, but you still watch the postseason, right? Now let me
Exactly.
ask you, what's your team to root for?
Red Sox.
Red Sox. Were the Red Sox in the postseason last year?
Were they? Yeah. Oh no, they weren't. They weren't. No, they weren't.
No, they
No.
weren't. Did you still watch it?
No, I watched it when they got really down to the World Series.
Right. Which is when most casual fans tend to.
All right, yeah, I guess
So-
because if my team's not in it, but the Red Sox would have been in it last year had they had 14, correct? I feel like they didn't miss it by.
Most likely, yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say yes. But, I mean, for the most part, when you say, like, you're a casual baseball fan, I say you're on, like, the lower end of that totem pole.
I guess so.
I think the most casual baseball fans are still tuning in for the wild card game, which, honestly, wild card baseball, some of the most entertaining baseball there is.
I do agree. When they throw up like the graphic of the wild card of the
Yeah.
postseason logo,
It's awesome.
It hits a little different.
So I don't think adding like the home team is gonna change the like more people viewing it. The people that view the postseason are still gonna view the postseason. Maybe you get a couple extra fans watching it.
Well, you'll get 4 extra fan bases, that's for sure.
Yeah, but if you're okay, so if you're it's not gonna add any new people watching baseball. If you're a fan of your team and you're watching the games, like let's say like 70% of them, you're watching those games because you like baseball. You don't watch all those games just because that's in my hometown. I root for them. If you love baseball that much and you're watching that many games, you're not gonna just turn it off in the postseason just because your team's not in it. Arguably, when the game gets most exciting, you're gonna have it on more.
Yeah.
So I don't think adding these teams is necessarily going to change how many people watch the postseason. It could, but I really don't think it is. I really just am not a huge fan of this idea. And for example, Trevor Bauer of the Cincinnati Reds right now, he was outraged. He took to Twitter.
Himself.
He is a hothead, but he has some good takes though.
Let me see what he has.
All right,
to
he
say.
said, this was a tweet, by the way. No idea who made this new playoff format proposal, but Rob is responsible for releasing this, as in Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the league. So I'll direct this to you, Rob Manfred. Your proposal is absurd for too many reasons to type on Twitter and proves you have absolutely no clue about baseball. You're a joke. And then he actually released about like a 2-minute video on his Twitter and his YouTube page, which he might have gone more in depth on YouTube, but basically explaining why, not necessarily directed at this, but it was because of this. He basically was explaining they're going about this the whole wrong way, that they need to be getting fans not by expanding the postseason, but just allowing players to express themselves, which has been a common theme in so many things. Like let them wear the cleats, all that. Similar to the NFL, but MLB is way more strict about it. He then went on to say, like, you need to allow them to use the content, which I completely agree with.
Yeah,
I know we've talked about it. The only NBA, Steph Curry makes a 3-point shot. You see it on every Instagram, every Twitter page, all the highlights. The only place you see MLB highlights is like TV or the MLB account.
Like
or
literally, it's Steph Curry makes a simple bounce pass, and I watch it 8 times on Twitter.
Right.
Mike Trout jumps over the wall, robs a home run, and I see maybe a highlight of it,
And
if I'm lucky.
That was actually exactly what Trevor Bauer said in the video.
Did he?
He did, yeah.
Wow. It's kind of
Right.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know why
you see the NBA highlight for like a week maybe if it's a great play. All throughout social media, you see a fantastic play like a Mike Trout robbing a home run or someone hitting like a 450-foot home run. You see that only if you follow the MLB account or a baseball related account that's kind of like under the profile that doesn't get flagged by the MLB. They restrict all their content, which it gets revenue for them. You get the fans to pay for it or just watch it all in one condensed area. But at the end of the day, that's not a good marketing strategy, and it's not going to grow the game, which is what MLB is striving to do so much with all these rule changes, not only with this new postseason proposal, but with every rule change they try, speed up the game in order to grow it. I think it's absurd. I know a lot of other fans do. If you really want to grow the game, just let other media outlets post whatever they want.
Yeah. No, speaking, I just want to hit on the speeding up of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So initially I was like, yeah, of course it needs to speed up. It takes forever. Then I looked at the numbers. It's not that bad.
Okay,
Compared to other sports,
right.
it's right out. The only thing is there's a lot of dead time, but you can only get rid of so much dead time with, like, you know what I mean? You can't really eliminate it.
So yes, there was the longest game run times ever recorded last season. It was like just under about like maybe 2 hours 45 minutes, something like that, just under 3 hours, something like that. But I mean, you look at football. I mean,
so it's 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
it's 3 hours.
But you don't. What's different is you don't really need to be like paying attention, I guess, to football, because you know when something's happening, you hear it and everything.
Right.
And like, it's just like, and everyone loves to watch football. It's like, America's sport.
Exactly.
And everything.
You got your fantasy teams and
so
whatever.
At NBA, there's always action, but football, even like everyone's saying, football moves so fast. If you really sit down and watch it, it doesn't.
As Mark Cuban, we were listening to Mark Cuban. He said only 12 minutes of an NFL game is actual playing time. You know what I mean?
Like, everything is just like little 1 or 2 yard gains, and then for, like you just said, that like 12 minutes that you watch, something big happens. There's nothing like crazy that happens every single second of a football game, but yet people still watch it. So I don't understand the argument to speed up the game. You just have to. If you don't like watching baseball because you think it's too long, what you're really saying is you just don't think there's a lot of action.
Right.
And the people who think that are just people who don't know baseball. Because if you truly do love baseball, or even just a casual fan, there's something you can focus on every second of the game. Whether it's this is going to sound like boring for people who don't like baseball, but whether it's how the infielders are set up, where the catcher's setting up in his position, you can see what pitch sequence is, all that. But it's just, there's strategy in every single second of baseball. And if you focus on that, it kind of becomes more interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do agree that's definitely that's not the way to change to grow the game. That's not a real change.
I think it's almost hypocritical with what. MLB's almost hypocritical. They have, I don't know if you've seen it, the let the kids play movement commercial. Mm-hmm. They say let the kids play with all these games, young stars, and what they mean by that is let them bat flip and celebrate. You see it in the commercial, but let the kids play. Also, let the kids express themselves. Let them have fun. Don't let people see that too. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I think it's a great time to take a quick little break.
Welcome back. You're listening to Behind the Dish on WDOM 91.3 with Robbie Cannon and Ben Bellotti.
We're back. How you doing, folks? We're gonna jump right into some Astros talk. Could get a little dicey.
For sure.
All right. So, basically, for those of you who don't know, I think you had to be living under a rock, even if you're not a baseball fan, if you don't know. But the Astros have been accused and confirmed that they were sign stealing illegally. Let me add that sign stealing is legal in the MLB if done the correct way, but they were doing it illegally with electronics. So we'll get into like the old report a little bit later, but right now there's been new details that have emerged. So I guess we kind of have to mention it first a little bit, but basically originally it was all the blame was on the Red Sox former manager, unfortunately, Alex Cora, and they said he was the mastermind behind all of it. Basically, they were using a TV and a camera in the outfield to focus in on the catcher signs, and then they would go into the clubhouse or the tunnel leading into the clubhouse, look at those signs, and then relay them using a trash can or other series of noises or reported buzzers, maybe, whatever. But so the original report blamed Alex Cora and said the front office had nothing to do about it. They were basically just punished because they knew about it, but they didn't do anything to stop it. So there's a new report came out from the Wall Street Journal. This is where it gets extremely interesting. It turns out that a while back, before the 2017 season, It was low-level employees in the front office that actually decided, hey, we're going to do this sign stealing thing. So I'm going to butcher the names, but Derek Vigo and Tom Coach Wesser, Astros director of team operations and director of advanced informations, created this program, an Excel-based program that aided in decoding signs. Sign sequences from catchers were input into the program, and then this program, which they deemed the name Codebreaker, would spit out the results. So they would put in, the catcher goes through a sequence of signs. He puts down, 1, 2, 3, wiggle, all of that. He put down 3 signs. They put it into the program, and then it would calculate it, and they'd spit out changeup. So they developed that, and they talked about it with the general manager, Jeff Lienow, whose report went on the record saying he knew nothing about it. If he did, he would have done something to stop it. He blamed the bench coach, didn't even name Alex Cora by name. So basically, yes, Alex Cora was still involved, but he was not the mastermind. It was these 2 front office guys. This is confirmed. So it kind of raises the question, did Alex Cora he hasn't been punished yet, but is he going to get too much of a punishment? Did the Red Sox fire him too soon?
I don't think so. Look, he was a part of it. There's no other way to put it.
He was a part of it, but he wasn't as big of a part of it as they thought. And this investigation with the Red Sox is still going on. Arguably, he didn't do any cheating with the Red Sox. Most likely, he didn't. Why the Red Sox fire him with something that everyone on the whole Astros staff, all the players, they knew about it? Why is he the only one? Well, not the only one, but why is he getting punished for that?
Well,
I can understand why, but
no,
I mean,
right. Between he, so if you're ranking the, we'll say, authority levels of the Astro coaching staff at that time, you're looking at Hinch 1, and is Cora second in line?
Yeah, he's the bench coach. So
okay.
Well, based on coaches, that's how it goes. The general manager and all that would probably rank above them. But based on who the players listen to day in and day out, it goes A.J. Hinch, the manager, bench coach at the time, Alex Cora. Right. And then goes coaches listed, so on and so on. You have a ton of coaches.
And so this is something that it would have gone through him before they started banging on trash cans and players knew what each bang meant, correct?
Meaning like he would be the one relaying them?
No, he wasn't relaying, but he knew if he heard 2 bangs, he knew that they were telling the batter there's a changeup coming, correct?
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, I mean, I will see what the punishment is.
Don't get me wrong.
Too much. So I mean,
you think they got punished too much?
I do, and I think he's gonna get punished.
We're gonna jump right into that real quick, but yeah, Alex Cora definitely had a part in it. He was one of the people who would help do it, but I mean, he was not the mastermind of it. He didn't come up with it. He was just going along with whatever someone told him to do. And so even more new details that emerged really quick. Carlos Beltran, who was a 40-year-old player in the 20th year of his career on the Astros at the time. So, he would walk into the clubhouse and they'd be, oh, Mr. Beltran, how can I help you? Mr. Beltran, you're so great. All that. He was actually one of the people who decided we're going to do this. Once he heard about it, he came in reportedly and said the Astros sign stealing methods were behind the time. So he helped them vamp it up. He was persistent about it. It's been put on the record, who knows if it's true or not, by a bunch of players. Other former Astros player and veteran, one of the more respected players on the team, Brian McCann, catcher, went up to Beltran multiple times asking him, dude, come on, you got to stop this. And he just didn't listen. A.J. Hinch quoted saying he felt powerless when he tried to confront Carlos Beltran. So it's a 20-year, probably, maybe not anymore, but supposed to be future Hall of Famer that everyone looks up to and respects. They just do whatever he says because they don't want to disrespect the guy. So his parting ways with the Mets is definitely warranted. His Hall of Fame legacy is probably tarnished now.
Yeah, I mean.
So just to add on to that.
Yeah, I don't think that this is like the end of the world, the worst cheating possible. To me, it's on the same level as like, I don't know, the pine tar that was being cheated with 2 years ago.
No.
That's to me. I feel like they're taking signs. You throw a good pitch if they know when it's coming. And to me, the Astros aren't the only team doing it.
Oh no,
they got caught.
They're not the only team stealing signs, but I mean, I'm sure there's other teams out there, but they were the first teams reportedly to do it. It doesn't matter that they were stealing signs. Everyone tries to look at the catcher signs from like the third base coach or the first base coach, and you relay it to the guy on second, and they're the ones that tell the batter. This was completely different because after starting in 2018, or maybe starting in 2017, I don't know, 17 or 18, the rules were you cannot use video equipment in order to steal signs. That's where this gets fuzzy because they literally had a camera in the outfield pointing in, and if they were simply just looking with the eye test and then relaying it, there'd be no problem. This is they went completely out of their way to do it, deliberately cheating.
I still don't think that they're the only team who's not only stealing signs but doing it legally.
Oh no, they might be the only team that had a camera pointed directly at the catcher's crotch, but but other teams 100% use the video room to decode signs, which MLB is going to be cracking down on way more. But yeah, they're definitely not the only team. So you said you think the punishments were too harsh for them. So let's revisit those punishments. The Astros lost their first and second round picks for this year's draft and next year's draft. So 4 draft picks, a $5 million fine, which many people thought should be higher. But was that the phone ringing? No. Oh, that's your laptop?
Yeah.
All right.
Made a little noise.
Thanks a lot, man. So yeah, a $5 million fine, which people thought it would be higher, but the reason it's $5 million is because that's what MLB caps it out at. It can't go higher than that. Then a 1-year suspension for both the manager and general manager, and that's the punishments. So you think the punishments are too harsh?
Yeah. So, well, first off, the $5 million fine, that's not a big deal.
No, that's
nothing.
Nothing.
But you just took away the 4 best picks that they have, essentially.
Yeah.
That to me, that's outrageous, especially what a MLB prospect is worth, as we just saw in the Mookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the second best player in the league for a couple prospects. So to me, it was, I don't know, that's a lot. I know you. It's almost like you got to set a precedent, this can't happen again.
Yeah,
so
you have to set a precedent, and also, I mean, I don't know how much you've looked into it, but so many players have outspoken about how much they disapprove of this. How even a ton of players feel like the punishment should be harsher. A lot of people want players to be involved in the punishment and have them taken out of it. CC Sabathia and a bunch of other Yankees players and even other players just on other teams have said that they felt the Yankees were cheated out of winning the World Series because of it. There's been one player, Freddie Freeman on the Braves. His buddy was a minor league player for the Blue Jays or some team like that. He got promoted. He played his first game ever against the Astros. He got absolutely shelled, 7 earned runs or something like that. Got demoted and never even came close to reaching the league again. He's actually, this is interesting, he's suing the league saying he got cheated out of it. So players are outraged with, in my opinion, good reason. I think some of them are taking it a little too far. Come on, suing the league, yeah, they might have known what pitch is coming, but if you are that bad, you just don't have the stuff to be in the MLB. But I don't think the punishment is too harsh at all. I just don't think. I mean, at first glance, I thought it was pretty crazy, but then after these new details have come out and the severity of how they were cheating, I completely agree with it, honestly.
So where do you rank this cheating scandal among the significance within recent history? Because I think it's nowhere near the PEDs, correct? Or do you think it is?
I think it is. I mean, the PEDs, everyone was doing it in the steroid era. I mean, the league just didn't even care. They looked at it, were like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing that, but all right. And then that wasn't even an issue until the report came out, the biogenics, all that
Yep.
that great stuff, where there was a list of long players. That's really when that started to become an issue. Everyone in the league was juicing, and if you weren't, you were good enough not to be. So, I mean, or even the players like Barry Bonds and all that, they just got that much better. But so, I mean, yeah, I think that obviously that yes, that is cheating. I completely am against the use of PEDs for players, even if everyone's doing it. But I think this is probably about even with that.
Okay.
I mean, if you know what pitch is coming absolutely every single time, that's a complete advantage to you. And if you're getting that information in an illegal way, yeah, that's cheating. And I mean, you look at the numbers. At first, I was a little skeptical about it, but they were doing this away using this program Codebreaker, so the home and road splits don't even really matter because they were still using, even if they weren't using the video room, they were still using this program to decode the signs and get the pitches, relay them. So, I mean, who knows for how long they've actually been doing this?
Yeah.
But, I mean, do I think it's like the Black Sox where they're betting on their own team? Not quite up there. A lot of people are saying it's worse than the Black Sox. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's definitely severe, and I definitely think it's up there. If because of the day and age we live in, it's gonna go down as the biggest scandal in baseball.
Okay, so then do you think that the players should be punished?
Um, I think if like Carlos Beltran was still a player, someone like him definitely deserves to be punished. One of the masterminds behind it, but everyone else was. I mean, how often are you gonna take baseball out of it? If a person of much higher authority than you, your boss's boss, if they're telling you to do something for your job, even if it's like a little unmoral, you're probably gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lose your job or you don't want
Right.
to not contribute to your job. So, I mean, these guys really didn't have much say. Even if they completely disagreed and they voiced their opinions, the Astros were not going to stop. So you either go along with it or you just deal with or you like don't play, or you get disgraced by the team. I don't know, but
Yep.
no one's really going to go against the Astros, so I don't think it's fair to punish the players. A lot of people think they should because, they think they were heavily involved in it. But if the front office is telling you it's not as bad as it actually is and it's going to help you get better, you're probably going to do it.
Yep. Do you think that they should take away the World Series title?
No.
Okay.
No.
Glad. All right. Glad we're on the same page there.
I think no matter what, this team was good enough to win the World Series. I mean, what's so upsetting about this whole thing is the Astros were one of the top, if not the top teams in baseball. They basically cheated just because they could. They had no reason to. They had a fair shot of making it to the World Series and probably winning the World Series without knowing what pitch is coming 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
that's my take on it.
Definitely a story full of controversy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And there's going to be more reports to come out, more rumors. The Red Sox report is going to come out, which I don't think really is going to be anything. Not even just saying that as a Red Sox fan. They were supposed to have the report done by the spring training. It's now going to go throughout spring training. So I don't think they're just really digging just because they were so confident the Red Sox cheated. I don't think.
You think they're looking deep for something right now?
Oh, 100%. They're definitely looking because the Red Sox have been linked to cheating multiple times, and they just want to back up what they've been saying. But were the Red Sox cheating? Probably. Everyone was cheating. But I don't think it was as severe as the league thinks it was.
Yeah.
Real quick, on the topic of the Red Sox, Ron Renneke officially named as interim manager for the Red Sox. So this interim tag is basically because this investigation has not been put public yet. They don't want to make him full-time manager in case he's linked to cheating or something like that. But so interesting about Ron Renneke, I actually heard this from Starting Nine, from Jared Carrabis, who has a lot of inside sources within the Red Sox. He extremely close to Alex Cora and everyone on pretty much the whole team. He said, and this hasn't been reported yet except for him, Ron Renneke was scheduled to retire. He's an older guy in his 70s. he was gonna retire, and then Alex Cora got fired, and he was like, "Well, if you need someone, I'll step up and do it for a year." So he's either gonna be the interim manager because he's only planning it on doing it for a year, and obviously, like I said, is linked to the investigation. But he doesn't really. He's not planning to. He wasn't planning to be the manager. He's doing us a favor by doing this.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, we talked last show about how we both thought it was actually a decent move by the Red Sox in the position that they're in.
And we didn't mention this last show. He won Manager of the Year.
Oh, did he?
He did. So completely qualified candidate.
Yep.
I have complete faith that he would do an amazing job with the team. It's just, he doesn't exactly want to be here right now. He's doing us a favor. So, but
he'd rather be in retirement down in Florida.
So, but honestly, since this report has been delayed, I think there is a much, much, much stronger possibility that Alex Cora is going to return after how long his punishment, his suspension, if he even gets suspended, which I'm pretty sure he will be. I think there's a very high chance that he returns to Red Sox as a manager.
But, I know that would make you happy.
Speaking of returning to Boston, I don't know if you saw the quotes. Mookie Betts, in my eyes, 95% coming back. So in his press conference with the Dodgers, they introduced David Price and Mookie Betts yesterday, I believe.
Yep.
He was asked about returning to Red Sox in free agency, and he was quoted with, what he's been saying this entire time. I love Boston, love the fans, blah, 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 all of that. And then he said, I really just, it's all business, and I just have to focus on 2020. And then he was asked about his thoughts on Red Sox Nation and how much they missed him. And he literally said the same exact thing. I love Boston. So basically, in my eyes, and pretty much every Boston fan, and even non-Boston fans, what that translates to is, I absolutely love Boston. I wanted to be there. They just didn't pay me enough money. I'm just going to play out this 2020 season with the Dodgers, most likely leave, and hopefully, if they offer me money, yeah, I'm coming back. I mean, his walk-up song was I Love My City.
Will we offer him the money?
I hope so.
Because
they'd be stupid not to. We cleared all this payroll for the reason of having money to spend. Why not spend it on the second best player in baseball?
That's a good question. But didn't we have the chance to already do that? We could already pay him, correct?
Oh, we 100% could have already paid him. It's, the Red Sox wanted to stay under the luxury tax threshold. But, I mean, do I really care about that? No. You have one of the richest owner groups in baseball. They own Liverpool, the soccer team. You know how much revenue that generates for them? The Yankees don't own a soccer team. They own NESN, the whole TV thing. They own the Boston Globe. They have money coming in from absolutely every direction. The luxury tax, yeah, it stinks. And the main reason I think they wanted to do it was get under it was because of the draft picks they lose and everything. So I understand getting under the luxury tax, but we should have. I 100% think we just should have gave Mookie all the money he wanted.
Yeah, pretty good. That was a lot. That was a lot to take in.
Yeah,
the Astros. The Astros. We've been waiting. We didn't talk about them Tuesday, did we?
No, we didn't.
No, we've been holding off on them since we got back. But what else do we have? What else is coming up?
Well, more Astros news. Do you want to go? You want to hear a little something about the Red Sox or a little something about Astros? More on the positive note.
Let's go. Give me some positive Astros.
All right.
They deserve it.
So the Astros, while we were away over break, or not over break, but we were back here, but just as we didn't have the show, the Astros have hired a manager, Dusty Baker. And a lot of people don't like Dusty Baker. They think he's old school. They give him a lot of crap for not winning it when he was the manager of the Giants. Well, the Giants team he had was not that good. He got them to the postseason because of how good of a manager he is. I personally think this is a great move for the Astros. At first I didn't, but I've come around on it. He's a good manager. He's a likable guy. A lot of people think so. He's just going to bring back, he's going to be the manager who has the door open, has come in whenever you want, stuff like that. He's going to bring back discipline to the Astros. It's a positive move for them. Just hiring a manager in general is a positive move, but hiring a guy like this is a really good move for them. He's a successful manager. He's one of the top 10 most winning managers of all time, I believe, and not top 10. He's really close up there, top 15 or something like that. So he's a proven good manager. He willingly came out of retirement for this opportunity, so he's eager to be back. So it's a great pickup for the Astros and something just on the more positive note.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think I didn't think it was a bad hire. He's up there in age, so I mean, obviously,
Yeah, he is.
they'll be looking down the market again in a couple of years. But
Oh yeah,
I mean, with a team ready to win, you want a coach who is also, like you said, they still have one of the best teams in the league.
arguably, yeah, I think so. A
Yeah,
lot of
so-
people are gonna be like, "Oh, they cheated, so they don't have the best team in the league." They still have one of the most talented and most proven teams in baseball. I don't care if you know what pitch is coming every time. I mean, yeah, I do care, but I really don't because you still have to hit it.
Right, exactly.
And the pitchers were still that good. They didn't have any cheating scandals reported yet. So they're still one of the best teams. I think this is a really good move for them, and I'm happy that some positive news before the new details came out was coming out for the Astros.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, all they want to do is play baseball. A lot of the Astros players are starting to come forward and realize their mistakes. They're going to issue an apology sometime in spring training, it's been reported. So a lot of guys regret their actions or even didn't want to be a part of it in the first place. So they really just want to be looking at playing baseball again.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough season. They're going to have targets on their back the entire season. You know, let's do this right now. Over under how many times the Astros players get thrown at in the season. Over under 20.
20. So that would be. Well, I don't think any team's gonna throw at them twice, right? I mean, unless there's a different issue, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the under.
Under?
Say the under.
I'm gonna take the under too.
I was gonna take the under.
What do you think a more realistic thing is, like, you know, maybe like 10 times they get thrown at? Maybe 5, 10?
I think it's gonna be double digits. I think.
You think so?
But yeah, I'm gonna say 12.
12?
12.
All right. I'll remember that.
What do you think?
8. I think 8.
The only reason I think 12 is because I think they get like 6 teams who throw at them for the cheating, and
Right.
but then you just naturally throughout the season you're gonna have something that comes up.
Yeah.
It always happens. We'll see.
That's true. I think it's going to be on the lower end. We're not 8's that's a lot of times to be thrown at for one controversy. But I think it's going to be around that because, you know, a lot of these teams are going to be hypocritical if they throw at them because they were cheating too.
Good point. You are right. Exactly.
It just hasn't come out yet, but and probably won't because this has been such a big thing, but there's been so many teams that have cheated.
You are right.
All right.
All right.
Let's take a quick break. You've been listening to WDOM 91.3 PC Radio. We'll be right back. Rob,
I might not be.
Rob,
We'll see.
Rob's
I gotta. Yeah.
big test to study for.
Huge test. So,
So-
I think it's just gonna be Ben the rest of the way, but he's got a lot more baseball. Look, I think you get a lot of baseball news to catch
A lot of
up on.
baseball. Some talk about Tom Brady maybe if we have time for it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of things to cover. So, you're listening to WDM 91.3 PC Radio. We will be right back. You're listening to WDM 91.3 PC Radio. Welcome back to Behind the Dish. It is just me now, Ben Bellotti. I am your host, and let's dive right back in. Okay, so we left off talking about the Astros and their cheating. So let's pick up with some more baseball news. So we talked about the Red Sox. Here is an interesting topic. The reported DH coming to the National League as soon as next year, 2021. This is something that I wanted to happen for such a long time. How does this impact the game, you ask? Well, in my opinion, it impacts it in a great way. It's something that needed to be happen for a long time, in my opinion. I mean, pitchers hitting is dangerous. It's fun to see. Yeah, Bartolo Colon hit a home run. That was an awesome moment. It was hilarious, so cool. The call for it is one of the best calls ever. It was great. But I mean, come on. The pitchers, so many pitchers have gotten hurt. Adam Wainwright got hurt running out of the box. Pitchers have gotten hurt base running. And yeah, some of that was pinch running. But I mean, too many guys were getting hurt. Too many guys are just a waste of an at bat. I mean, half these pitchers haven't even learned how to bunt. They can't put one down. So better or worse, the DH the DH to the National League is something that has needed to happen for such a long time, and if it needs to come as soon as possible. So the fact that it's reported that it could come out as soon as next year is something that I love to see. And there's gonna be the old school fans that don't want to change the game, the fans that just think that it's going to be a waste and you're ruining the game. That's completely wrong. It adds another job in the National League, someone that can make your team 100% better. So think about it. Next year, JD Martinez may opt out of his contract with the Red Sox. If the DH comes to the National League, the list of teams he can go to just grew by 15. There's so many more opportunities for players. There's so many more opportunities for teams to be better. You think it takes out the strategy because now the double switch is gone. Well, technically you can still do a double switch, but it really doesn't take out the strategy. You still have the strategy of where to bat your DH. You still have the strategy of built-in off days. Some strategy is being taken out, but so much more is being implemented back. And think about it. What other sport has it where there's two different sets of rules in each league? I mean, you don't play the football. Each league has the same rules. Basketball, each league has the same rules. Every single sport has the same rules, except for baseball. Two different set of rules in the National League and the American League just doesn't make sense. Teams should be playing with the same set of rules, and they should be playing with a designated hitter. And I understand a lot of old school fans and even new school fans don't like the idea of a player being one-sided, only playing one side of the game. But if you're that good to play it and you're that good to get paid to be a designated hitter, go and be a designated hitter. It's a valued position in this day and age. I mean, there's not a lot of them, but that's because there's only 15 teams that have it. So this opens it up for more players to have the opportunity to get in the league, and it opens up more competitiveness. Like I said, more jobs. It's just a good thing that I think should have happened a long time ago. So there's that. And more Red Sox news. The Red Sox signed outfielder Kevin Pillar. He spent the majority of his career with the Blue Jays. He then was traded to the San Francisco Giants last year. Actually had a little bit of a resurgence in the season with them, so he really rounded out the season with them. And now he signed with the Red Sox on a one-year deal. This move, I know what a lot of you are thinking, another outfielder, why do we need another outfielder? Well, it's because now that Mookie Betts is gone, our whole outfield projected that it's, Benintendi, Bradley, Alex Verdugo. They're all left-handed, so this adds, one, a stellar defender, Kevin Pillar, also known as Superman because of all the diving catches and amazing plays he makes, is now you have another plus defender, so that outfield just got even more defensively sound, already one of the most defensively sound outfields in the game, even with Alex Verdugo taking over for Mookie Betts. So you add the defense, and Kevin Pillar is a righty. So instead of now you can platoon him with Jackie Bradley Jr., you get off days, even a DH off day. He's a great fit for this team because, on the back end of his career, approaching the back end of his career, he probably won't be playing every day. He could be an everyday player for a smaller market team, for like someone like the Pirates or like the Marlins, but he's going to competitive, what should be hopefully a competitive team. He's staying in what he's comfortable in the American League East. He crushes left-handed pitching, so a perfect platoon situation just opened up because of this addition to Kevin Pillar. And Kevin Pillar actually has a really interesting story, and it's something that players that, college players or high school players that don't play at the highest level, a story that they should really look into. Basically, I don't know the exact details. They slipped my mind. It's been a while since I've heard the story, but Kevin Pillar didn't go to a fancy college. He didn't go to a big D1 school like a lot of MLB players. He really barely even got scouted. So he went to California State University, Dominguez Hills. Have you ever heard it? I haven't. So he went to there. He went to prep school and high school. He was a good player. He really believed in his ability to play, but he didn't get scouted that much. There's other players in that area that are 10 times better than he was, that scouts would gravitate towards you know. So he wasn't getting scouted in high school. He really wasn't getting scouted in college, but he believed in himself. He played well enough in college to get drafted in a low round, and he just grinded it out in the minors. He never gave up on his dream. His story is just something that all, D3 athletes, D2 athletes, if you believe in yourself, just look at guys like Kevin Pillar. He was drafted by the Blue Jays in the 32nd round from this California State University, Dominguez Hills, in the 32nd round. And now he's an MLB player. He's been in the league. This is going to be his 8th season in the league. He's been a league average player. Defensively, he's been an above average player. So he always knew he had great defensive talent, and he just had to work on a little offensive part of his game. And he did that, and I mean, look where it got him. He's an MLB player playing for the Boston Red Sox now. He was in the league for 7 years with the Blue Jays, half of that with the San Francisco Giants. So if you just don't fully believe in yourself just because scouts aren't looking at you, just look at guys like Kevin Pillar. So that's all I got to say about him. I think it's a great signing, Sox. And this kind of fits in with, I know Chaim Bloom is under he's under a lot of fire because of the Mookie Betts, David Price deal. But think about it. He came into a situation, his first time being a general manager ever, and he comes into one of the hardest situations he could have possibly came into. He has to decide whether to keep or not keep the best player, second best player, arguably the second best player in the league. He knows he has to shed his salary. So let's say Mookie Betts isn't on the team to begin with, or is just another team that simply asks him to come in and shed salary. You get, like, let's say he was brought into, let's say a team like the Angels. They have a pretty high payroll, a big budget, and he comes in and he's first year being a general manager ever. They say, we want to be competitive, but you have to get us under a certain amount of money. So the Angels are under the luxury tax, but let's say they weren't. You have to get under the luxury tax. So now he has to decide whether or not to trade the best player, whether he just waits and out. There's so many things he could have done. And, well, a lot of fans don't agree with trading Mookie Betts, and I honestly don't either. It's something that I feel was kind of forced upon him. Going into a team and having to cut payroll is something hard enough, especially when you're a big market team like the Red Sox. So that's hard enough. Then you add in the fact that, Mookie Betts, you've been negotiating with him. You come in, now that's your job to negotiate with him. You don't really know him that well because you haven't been with any other team except the Tampa Bay Rays. So you don't have the relationship with him, even less chance he's going to re-sign. So now it makes his decision easier to trade him. It kind of makes it easier to understand. You want to get something in return for him instead of just that compensation pick. So he maximized, in his eyes and my eyes, as much as he could get for him with the salary dump of David Price. So he already accomplished one task. Like it or not, he's got the Red Sox under the luxury tax. But what I really want to talk about in relation to this Kevin Pillar deal is all the little moves, little under the radar trades that you wouldn't even know about unless you follow a Twitter account like MLB Roster Moves or something like that. The Red Sox have made a ton of minor league trades that benefit them. Trades that no one talks about, trades that you really mean nothing to the major league club at all, but eventually they will. He basically took guys that were underperforming a lot or just weren't that good and traded them for guys that were slightly better, slightly above average. He's making the minor league system better. When you do that, obviously you get better players in your system, but you also, when there's someone better than you, more times than not, you strive to be better than them. It brings a competitive, more of a competitive. You try and be more competitive. It brings the competitive edge out. That's what I'm trying to say. It brings the competitive edge out of the player. If you're trying to beat a guy out for your position, which baseball is all about, there's a guy blocking you at your position. You got to be better than him. That drives you to be better if he's better. Bringing in better players just makes the team better, obviously, because there's better players, but it makes it better all around because everyone tries to be better than that player at their own position. So he's brought in about 3, 4, 5 guys that are better than minor leaguers. He's done stuff like that. There was the signing of the pitcher that is now, we absolutely need him for our rotation now, and Perez from the Twins. So he's done a lot of moves that aren't huge, but things that really will help the Red Sox. Let's see. So they signed multiple players to minor league deals. Re-signed Mitch Moreland. That didn't get talked about a ton, but that was a huge move. So like this guy Jeffrey Springs for Sam Travis, that was a under the radar trade that made us better. We got relief pitching in the minors that hopefully can develop. That's something the Red Sox absolutely need. Martin Perez, that's a starting pitcher signed to a 1-year deal. Martin Perez is a guy that, really wasn't that great of a pitcher. He's had stretches where he's pitched good, but not anything close to like serviceable, really. He's 28 years old. He previously played for Minnesota. Before that, he spent his whole career with Texas. A career 4.72 ERA, a 5 ERA last year, but he had positive signs. He went through stretches where he pitched very well, and he's an innings eater. 165 innings last year. Aside from 2018, every year he's pitched for the past 4 years he's pitched over 20 games. Two of those years have been over 30 games. He's been close to 200 innings multiple times. It's an innings eater guy, a guy at the back end of the rotation that you can't necessarily rely on, but he's someone there that to help you out. Along with that, the Jose Peraza, that's who they signed from previously on the Reds. It's a utility guy, most likely going to be our everyday second baseman because Pedroia is not looking like he's coming back. We are not going to sign Brock Holt, which is something I want to talk about later. And, I mean, it's just small little moves that don't look like much and probably, they have not a great chance of working out. But if they do, you make him look like a genius. So he's made little moves like that are really beneficial to the Red Sox, and fans just really can't see that. So, like I said, I want to talk about Brock Holt. Brock Holt, fan favorite for the Red Sox, one of my favorite players on the team for a long time. One, because he's a great player. Two, because he's just a fun guy to watch. He has fun playing baseball, which is what it should be all about. It is a game. He's a guy in the clubhouse that gets everyone fired up. He's a guy that you just love to root for. Him and JD Martinez had the home run hug celebration. There's stuff like that you just don't have anymore because of Brock Holt. And not only that, but he's probably the best utility player in the game. He could be an everyday second baseman, but he chooses, or not chooses, he was asked to and automatically was like, yeah, I'll do that. He was asked to play everywhere on the diamond. He's played everywhere except catcher. So he can play everywhere well, except for, maybe he's not the best first baseman, but he can do it. He's a great second baseman, a good outfielder. He could be an everyday outfielder or an everyday second baseman for a lot of teams. And he hasn't been signed by anyone, and spring training has already started. And that is something that is absolutely crazy to me. Every team, I don't care who you are, every team can use a utility player. He's not going to be that expensive, probably $10 million max for the whole contract, something like that. You can pay him like $5 million a year, and the guy would be completely content. He just wants to play baseball. He wants to get out after it. And it's really sad that the Red Sox didn't even give him a glance because he loved the Red Sox so much. It's where he really came into his career, and he was an all-star with the Red Sox. He was a leadoff hitter at one point. He's gotten everyday playing time. Even if he doesn't, it's a team he loved to be on. Fans love to root for him. Even his son Griff has become part of Red Sox Nation. And the little cult following he has, people are joking around that he wanted to be the managers. There's a classic videos of him that Brock posts on Instagram of him hitting big bombs. So that's something that the Red Sox lose right there, and it's almost confirmed that it's lost because Alex Verdugo just took his number 12. So Brock Holt almost definitely not coming back to the Red Sox, and it's absolutely absurd in my mind that he's not signed with a team at all. Like I said, one of the best utility players, if not the best utility player in the game. He can be an everyday second baseman for a team like the Marlins, the Pirates. There's so many teams. The list goes on and on. Even if you just want him as a bench player, like I said, he's not a pricey guy. So I hope he finds a home soon because, one, the season's starting in less than 2 months. Spring training games are going to be starting in a couple of weeks. And two, I mean, he just needs a place to work out. That's not some training complex. He needs a field and everything that with his team. He needs to get used to his new teammates. So sign him because it would be a great signing. No matter who signs him, it's going to be looked at as a great signing. I'm honestly very surprised the Red Sox. I don't know. I'm sure they considered it, but I'm very surprised the Red Sox did not. There's not a public offer that they made him out there because I'm sure whatever offer they made him, he would absolutely take it. I mean, there was reports he was going to sign with the Blue Jays a while ago, and he didn't take it. And many fans speculated it was because he was coming back to the Red Sox, and that just hasn't been the case. So I hope he finds a home soon. I would absolutely love it. It's the Red Sox. I don't think it's going to be, but maybe. Who knows? So let's find a home for Brock Holt before anything else happens in this league. That's where I like to see. So let's look at some MLB teams that I think are going to be looking to have a pretty good season. Teams that drastically improved from the offseason. Number one, my opinion, my personal favorite team, they've actually they've won me over as my NL team. The Cincinnati Reds. They added Mike Moustakas as a second baseman, which I absolutely love. If Suarez, their third baseman, needs a day off, slide Moose right back over to third base, his natural position. Other than that, he's going to be an average defender, if not slightly above average at second base. He knows how to play it. He did it for the Brewers last year. Not only that, it adds some pop to that lineup. Along with that, someone that I think should have gotten a lot more attention this offseason, I talked about him last semester in my show, Nick Castellanos. I mean, this guy is a really good player. Now, defensively, he's not that good. So this is someone who would absolutely love the DH to come to the National League in 2021. Nick Castellanos is a DH that opens up the Reds have a very crowded outfield right now, so they could really benefit from this 2021 DH that's reportedly coming. But anyway, Nick Castellanos, a great hitter. He had an absolute great season with the Cubs when he was traded there last year from the Tigers. Still a great player with the Tigers. He played third base for them. They got moved to the outfield, and he played better in the outfield. But he's always been a great hitter. This adds even more pop to that lineup. Plus, they still have Sonny Gray, who was in the Cy Young race last year. They have other pitchers that pitch great for them, plus a full year of Trevor Bauer, who did not pitch well for them last year once he got traded there. But, maybe he was going through some weird stuff, then throwing balls into the outfield, struggling a lot. So that will be off his mind. He's had a full offseason to get used to his new teammates. He has a spring training with them this year. Trevor Bauer, definitely a bounce back year. I can see it happening for them. So that's three guys that essentially weren't there. And let's just say Trevor Bauer would have better off not being on the Twins. The Reds than being on them. So basically, he's a new addition to this year, in my opinion. So that's three guys right there that make your team a lot better. This lineup is starting to look like a very good lineup. I would not be surprised if the Cincinnati Reds are a wildcard team, or even, their division's kind of tough, but they could definitely be a wildcard team, and I would love them to be a wildcard team. Let's look at the projected lineup. Let's see. They also signed a player from Japan. Shogo Akiyama, an outfielder. He's on the older side, but really big power hitter over in Japan. And interesting fact, the Cincinnati Reds, before this signing, were actually the only MLB team to never have a player from Japan, or Asia in general for that matter. So finally, all 30 teams have had a player from Japan. So that's cool. And he's also has the potential to be a very good hitter for this team. So let's look at their projected lineup. We have that signing over there. Joey Votto at first base hitting second. Votto didn't have one of his best seasons last year, but I don't see why he can't bounce back. He's always been a tremendous hitter and defender, everything. He's on the older side, I know, and he's been slightly declining, but he's still a very serviceable and great average hitter. He's going to still have another good year. Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, who is one of the most underrated players in baseball. This guy can flat out hit. He can field. He can do it all. He was in the MVP race and people didn't even know about it. So That's your third hitter. Then Moose rounds it up in the cleanup spot. Mike Moustakas, number 5, the acquisition, Nick Castellanos, like I talked about. Number 6, Aristides Aquillo. This is someone who got brought up last year, and instant power numbers. Look for him to go. He's also a good defender. Freddie Galvis, tremendous defender, and then Tucker Barnhart, a very good catcher. So they're looking good. And then their potential starters, Sonny Gray, Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo, who is a stud. Wade Miley, another signing I didn't even talk about. He did pitch great for the Astros for a better part of the year. And then Anthony DeSclafani, who had a tremendous year last year. So the Reds are looking good. So next team, White Sox. They signed Jose Abreu to an extension, added Yasmani Grandal, one of the first moves of the offseason. So that's looking good. They're looking good. Twins added Josh Donaldson. That lineup just got scarier. One of the best lineups in baseball last year. They had some of the most home runs. They just got 100% better with Josh Donaldson. And then obviously the Yankees improved. Dodgers, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about that. We did last show, and the Astros are still looking scary. Red Sox have a good lineup. I know their team has a lot of holes, but still a great lineup. So we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk some football. So yeah, you're listening to WDM 91.3 Providence. Welcome back. You're listening to WDM 91.3 PC Radio. This is Behind the Dish. And we have some breaking news, actually. As we speak, the Houston Astros are having a press conference with manager Dusty Baker, the owner of the team, and 2 players, one of which is Jose Altuve, a player that has been linked to a lot of the cheating. And we actually have a quote from Alex Bregman, who was also present at the press conference, just tweeted out. He literally just said it in the press conference. So this tweet is per Jeff Passett. Alex Bregman, quote, said, "I am really sorry about the choices that we made by my team, by the organization, and by me. I have learned from this, and I hope to regain the trust of baseball fans." And that is probably the same message that absolutely everyone on this Astros team is thinking. I mean, I'm sure more quotes will come out of this, and no one, I'm sure, is going to take this the right way. I'm sure there's going to be said, yeah, they're saying that because they have to. I'm sure the Astros players really do mean it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them regret their actions as they were doing it. I'm sure a lot of them didn't, but anyway, let's go into the football talk. So what I got lined up is some Tom Brady talk and links to which connects to Phillip Rivers. So, recently, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers came to a mutual agreement that he's going to become an unrestricted free agent. That opens up a lot of doors for him. A pretty good quarterback, in my opinion. Not one of the best, but he's a very good quarterback. He has potential to be very good. So, he can go to a lot of teams. And what this really does is open up an opportunity for the Chargers to explore even more in depth their connection to Tom Brady and their chance to get him. So ever since everyone knew, since the beginning of the year, it's been said that Tom Brady has a really good chance of going to the Chargers because, he's a California guy. The joke that's been out there is, you got to let Giselle go, sit on the beach all day, right? So I really don't think there's a good chance he's going to be anywhere but the Patriots, but who knows? Sports, crazy things happen all the time. But this really just allows them to have even a better argument for signing Tom Brady. I think they actually did this move and allowed Phillip Rivers to become an unrestricted free agent in response to it. And now they have even more saying, like, hey, we don't have a quarterback, and we're going to pay you a ton of money. And it's California. You're a California native. Come back home. Come back and deliver us a championship. We have the assets for you. We have the receivers. We're a great team. So just come on. They have a great argument to get him to sign there, and I'm sure he would consider it. But, I mean, this guy, he's a New England Patriot through and through. we've said it so many times on the show, and just you say it, all the New England fans talk about it with all their friends. But I mean, like Tom Brady just commented on Julian Edelman's post the other day saying, "Dude, come back to New England so we can have a catch." So he still, when it was said that he was selling his house and moving to Connecticut, guess what? Connecticut's still in New England. Yeah, he's closer to New York, but he's not. He's not in California until he moves out of New England. Or, I mean, and plus, guys can have two houses. So, I mean, he's still in New England. He's still close to Gillette. The moving thing, in my opinion, has no effect on where he's going to play. That was just crazy that people were talking about it, in my opinion. But should he consider going to the Chargers? I mean, if I was Tom Brady, here's what I would do. I would have the Patriots as my number one choice because you've been with them your whole career. You've had success. You have a great relationship with Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. Everyone in the whole organization you have a great relationship with. You're an idol here. You'll always be an idol here. Even if you leave, they're still going to love you. So he's an idol here. He's beloved. Obviously a great quarterback. Plus Bill Belichick and him, probably the best quarterback-coach relationship ever. So think of the Patriots. If I'm Tom Brady, I think of the Patriots as my number one choice no matter what. But I'm going to explore my options because if he really wants to, he deserves to go out there and get that money. With any sport, if a player, I firmly believe this, if a player thinks they can go out and get more money than we're making, they should go out and get that money. I know a lot of people think like athletes are overpaid and everything, but it's a grind and they generate so much money. They're one of the biggest businesses like out there, they generate billions of dollars, and the Patriots themselves do. So he deserves to get paid. The Patriots are willing to pay him that money too. Robert Kraft has said he's not going to force Bill Belichick to force Tom Brady out. So if it's his choice, it's a football decision. He obviously loves Tom Brady. It's a football decision, and I would completely understand that. I know a lot of New England fans would be upset, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's where you want to move your team. If you're Bill Belichick, you got to think of the future. So if Tom Brady wants to sign a 3-year deal and only a 3-year deal, then if you're Bill Belichick, you got to be up with him and be like, dude, we'll give you 3 years, but you're not going to start all 3. Or maybe he will if he's that good. I mean, the dude's bionic, so, I mean, come on. But, I mean, I am all for Tom Brady going out there and exploring his options. Same thing with Mookie Betts. Red Sox Nation was so upset that we couldn't re-sign him. But he has every right to go out there and test the market. If he believes he's the second best player in the league and he has a strong argument for that, he deserves to go out there and try and beat Mike Trout's contract, try and beat Bryce Harper, Manny Machado's contract. He is 100% a better player than Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. So if he looks at their contract, think they got upwards of $300 million, he's going to go out there and try and make as much money as possible because that money is not just for you. It's for your family. If you get that, your family is set for life. And I know it's an absurd amount of money no matter what. But like I said, they do generate billions of dollars. And it's a grind. Being a professional athlete takes a tremendous toll on your body, especially in the case of football players with all crazy like CTE things and just other crazy injuries. And baseball too, not necessarily CTE, but the tolls it takes on your entire body, especially your arm. The throwing a baseball is one of the most unnatural motions you can possibly do. And we have guys out there, every major leaguer can throw upwards of 80, most of them upwards of 90 miles per hour. So you're humming a sphere through the air, 90 miles per hour for 162 games a year. That takes a tremendous toll on your arm. And plus just the grind of, practice every day. You don't have a game for the most part. If you have an off day, most guys are still taking that time to take some swings. The off season, #no off season. It's extremely corny, but I mean, it's off season from baseball, but they're still working, taking a toll on their bodies. Yeah, they're making their bodies better, but at the end of the day, when they're older, it's going to take a toll on them. They deserve every right they have. They deserve to go out there and get paid. And I firmly believe that if you want to bet on yourself and go into free agency, 100% do it. So, like I said, I have no problem with Tom Brady going out there and testing the market, even if he knows in his heart he's going to be a New England Patriot again. Go out there, see what the Chargers have to offer, see what every other team has to offer, because you deserve it. He's the GOAT, and the GOAT deserves to be paid like the GOAT. So another quote actually just came through from the press conference. Pretty simple, but like I said, there was the Alex Bregman quote, and then Jose Altuve is quoted saying, "The whole Astros organization feels bad about what happened in 2017." So this is the apology that the Astros were talking about. They weren't going to force the Astros players to apologize, but I mean, you're kind of crazy if you think they aren't going to apologize because, I mean, like I said, so many players have been outspoken about this and how disappointed they are. But all right, so we're going to take a really quick break here, and for the last part of the show, I'm going to play the clip I was talking about earlier in the show from Trevor Bauer, because I think it has a lot of meaning behind it and there's a great topic behind it. So we're going to play that clip when we come back. So really quick break, no more than 2 minutes. So stick around. We'll be right back. You're listening to WDUM 91.3 Providence. Welcome back. You're listening to WDUM 91.3. You're listening to Behind the Dish, and I'm Ben Bellotti, your host. All right, last 10 minutes of the show. Like I said, I got a Trevor Bauer video for you, the video I was referring to earlier in the show, and then I got some little thoughts about it. I completely agree with what he has to say, and it's going to be great. So let's check it out. This video, like I said, is in response to the rule changes reported to the league. Mainly the playoff, but really this is just about baseball in general and everything that Trevor Bauer believes they have to change. So just a short 2-minute clip where he gets pretty into it, and it's a great clip, and I'd love to see more of this from players. So we'll talk about that right after we watch it. So let's take a listen.
On top of that, they can't even go to Twitter where all the young people hang out. You can't even go to social media and see anything about the game. Steph Curry throws a bounce pass in an NBA game, and it's trending with 1.5 million views 5 minutes later, and Mike Trout goes and launches himself and robs a homer or something, and you can't find the highlight anywhere online. It's ridiculous. You got BAM, that Baseball Advanced Media, that was designed to just centralize all MLB content and force people to pay to have access to it. Great, you made a lot of money up front, but you centralize all this content, you make people pay for it, and you know what you get? You get a missing generation of fans. You make some money up front, great, and you miss a generation of fans, and the game is losing popularity, and especially amongst young people. I mean, let's not even talk about like the shoes, the cleats. Oh, hey, Mike Clevenger, you can't wear those shoes that are colorful that everybody on Twitter likes because it violates our stupid cleat policy where you get 3 colors of cleats. Like, I mean, what does it even matter? Just let the players express themselves. Let it have some personality. Market the game. Don't change it. Don't make the mound 62 feet. Don't make playoffs where you have to pick your opponent and freaking whatever. Don't change the game. Market the players. You have more players in baseball than any other league with much more diverse backgrounds worldwide. More so than any of the other major American sports. And it's the least marketable. It's because you make stupid decisions about how you market the players. You don't open it up. Let content go. Get it out there. Quit with this stupid cleat policy, the stupid BAM policy, blackouts all over the place. And that's just dealing with content that we already have available. Where's the innovation in content? Where's the next thing that's going to draw fans in? Who's innovating? Who's creating something new? Who's trying to identify with the young fans?
All right, so there's Trevor Bauer getting pretty emotional, in my opinion, over something that he has every right to. I mean, Trevor Bauer, a very outspoken guy, kind of lets it fly. Whatever he wants to say, he pretty much says. And I really have no problem with that when some of the stuff he says is a little out there and a little crazy, and he's a very strange guy. But some of his beliefs and mannerisms I don't agree with, but for the most part, I mean, let this guy go. Let him fly. More stuff like this, more players need to be outspoken like this in order for change to occur. Everything he said in this video, I 100% agree with. Especially, and I emphasize this point more than anything else, and I really think Trevor Bauer said it perfectly. You have more players in the MLB than any other league. And on top of that, like he said, more diversity. You have players from Australia. There's a couple players from Australia. There's a player from Nigeria. Overseas, some London guys, all around the U.S., all the Hispanic community, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, everything. They're from all over the place. Colombia. Look at the World Baseball Classic. It's filled with talented guys from throughout the MLB and even guys that just love baseball. Everyone plays baseball worldwide for the most part. They have enough for the World Baseball Classic. They have enough to go back into the Olympics. And what's crazy is what he's saying. You can't market them because MLB restricts it to only their page, only their things they own, only people they approve. Every other league, you can take whatever you want and post it anywhere. Not every other league, but especially the NBA. Like he's saying, Steph Curry gets a bounce pass. It's everywhere. If something big happens in the MLB, you can only see it on their page. And I know I talked about this earlier, but it's just so crazy to me. Like, they have such great opportunities, such great guys to market with. Ronald Acuna Jr., an absolute electric player. Fernando Tatis Jr. These guys only baseball fans really know about because they're not allowed to market them. No one else. John Boy Media, a great personality on Twitter. His videos were starting to get taken down because they weren't licensed by MLB. I mean, come on. It's growing the game. If what you want to do is grow the game, let people around you grow the game. Let videos be out there no matter what. Let content fly. Everyone's concerned that Mike Trout isn't marketed, isn't like recognizable. It's because of this. And it's just Trevor Bauer said it perfectly. I mean, I completely agree with everything, and I know I'm just going on and on about it, but I mean, really, like, it's a great sport, and I know it's not for everyone, and everyone doesn't love it, but I'm sure everyone can connect and like the personalities that MLB has to offer if they could just see them, because your everyday sports fan that doesn't follow the MLB really isn't going to see anything except like a top 10 play that's absolutely ridiculous, and you don't get to see Ronald Acuna Jr. pimping a home run and taunting people down the line. You don't see that from other guys. All you see is like the huge game-winning home run to send them into the postseason. So I completely agree. Let them play. Let them show their personalities, because that is also a great tool. You see a guy repping a sick colored glove or multicolored cleats with cool designs on them. Don't find the players for that. Let them do it, because people see that. It grows the game. It's all about growing the game. These rule changes they have aren't not going to grow the game. What's going to grow the game is exactly what Trevor Bauer and every other player is thinking about it. Every player is thinking about it. Just he's the only one that wants to say it, because everyone else just wants to tiptoe around and go about their business. Trevor Bauer just lets it fly. He puts his opinions out there, which isn't always for the best, but I mean, he gets this point across, and he does a great job of saying it. So, yeah, just literally, they have the commercial, let the kids play. Literally, let the kids play. Let everyone play. I know it goes against old school baseball, but times are changing, and you can still have that element of old school baseball with letting emotions fly and letting people show what they're all about. So we're going to end on that note. Sorry if the show kind of dragged on a little bit. We're getting used to this early time slot. Used to having a little bit later. Waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning preparing for the show is a lot harder than waking up at 9:30. So we're going to get used to it. The shows are going to only get better. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you to all who listened and to all who put input out, messaging me personally and all that. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week. So thanks to Rob. He couldn't stay the whole show, but he'll definitely be back. So yeah, thank you for listening once again. Make sure to keep on listening, keep spreading the content, watching content. I got a YouTube channel up, Instagram page, Behind the Dish on everything. BTS Sports on Instagram, but if you search Behind the Dish Sports, it will pop right up. So go ahead to subscribe, follow if you want to. If not, just keep on listening. And thank you for all the support I've gotten from everyone, and I hope it continues to grow. So like I said, we'll be back next week. Thank you for listening. You're listening to WDUM 91.3. This has been Behind the Dish with Ben Bellotti.